Good morning, everybody. What's happening? It's Anthony Michael Russo from the Daily Truth. I'm at an event. I was actually going to take the week off of Daily Truths, but I feel as though today's an important one. Yeah, so I'm on my phone, so I can't see much. I can't see comments, and that's okay. I'm just going to talk a little bit. And I got to speak today at an event, and I'm not going to lie, I'm glad that I wasn't emceeing the second half of the afternoon yesterday because this was a tough one. And I know that my friends Cash and Casey have been on and talking about it, and it's bothered me a lot. I've had the honor of seeing Charlie Kirk in person, shook his hand at an event with Don Jr. Years ago. Kelly took us to. And I'm just bothered by so many different things that I see on top of what he went through, on top of what his family had to see. And I don't think people understand, I shouldn't say that. I think some people don't understand the level of magnanimity of this. And people are afraid to call this a modern day Martin Luther King incident, but it is. Whether you agree with some of his sentiments or disagree with some of his sentiments. Fact is, Charlie Kirk is probably the most influential conservative voice. And the same would go if somebody was the most influential Democrat voice, that it would be a huge deal. I don't know who that would be in the Democrat Party right now, to be honest. But from an activist perspective, which is what Martin Luther King was, Charlie Kirk was an activist, somebody that not just was an activist for conservative values, but most importantly, the thing that separates us from other countries, which is the First Amendment. Somebody that speaks to people that disagree with him and takes arrows day after day after day for the purposes of engagement and conversation. There was no more intelligent person in the Republican Party and the conservative movement. Period. It's interesting. Some of the things that bother me are the fact, well, I'm going to first get into, I did a radio interview this morning for WBAP. I haven't taken radio interviews in a while because I've been busy and I've been out of politics. Most people know I try to stay away from it. I don't know if I could do that anymore. I just don't know if I can. Should have put it on Do Not Disturb. Sorry about that. I don't know if I can. There's a purpose to certain people, and I can never be a Charlie Kirk. I don't have his level of knowledge, intelligence, understanding of the Bible, but I do have a pretty heavy empathetic bone. I don't have that today, I'll be honest. There's people in comments that when I see them, I'm as patient as I can to avoid the F word, but I'm definitely saying who's stupid and who's not, and who's ignorant and who has no brain. And I can't fight that. I'm human. But there's people that don't understand how big of a deal it was, or the fact that this can be compared to the Democrats that were killed in Minnesota. And again, each life is just as, but this is a public assassination like we have not seen since Martin Luther King or JFK. So I was on the radio this morning, and for those that don't know, I have, and maybe this is why it hit a little home. So obviously I'm in front of crowds a lot for things unrelated to politics, but there's people that know my politics. There's people that don't like me. And I have had one person that has on and off stalked me for, I don't know, 7 years, from the 8 years now, I guess, from the moment I just said, I don't know your story. So I can't, even though they used to work for me, I can't go to people and have your back when I don't know what really happened. And honestly, I didn't trust this individual anyways. And he has called the spa, Kelly's business. He's called individually late at night, actually recently. He once put on a page where I was hosting a patriotic event if you guys are watching, Jessica Mathis, they posted a thing about how I was this horrible person that if he saw me in public, he said I was in hiding. I'd never been in hiding, but he said if he saw me in public, he would shoot me. And that didn't bother me probably until today. So I was on the radio and they said, you do a lot of political stuff. And I'm like, I don't really do a lot of political stuff. People know, but I'm always in front of a crowd. And to say that I'm not a little bit scared, angry, frustrated, as I've been part of my issue where people get upset about my political voice. Part of the problem with it is the fact that people are saying that people of my ilk or belief system are a danger to society. We're the ones that are dangerous. We're the ones that cause violence. We're the domestic terrorists, and we're all this. And in all reality, pay attention. And there's news coming out right now about what was written on this gun and what this person looked like. As of right now, fits the mold of the last couple shootings. And for years, I've been demonized. For years, and this is why the coaches that I work with now have told me to avoid politics and to avoid my belief system. Even though I come from a place of a lot of liberalism, I am not a staunch conservative, but I come from a place of liberal belief systems and open-mindedness and what have you. I come from a different place than this. I come from a different place than even Charlie Kirk. Granted, he did it in such an amazing and empathetic way where he would engage with people. But I do come from it not as a super heavy Bible thumping Christian. I come from it from a perspective of God leading my life, Christ leading my life, and also understanding that there's ways that I can't control other people. At the same time, that has caused vitriol in people, and it's caused coaches of mine to say, if you want to get work in the speaking industry, if you want to, do all these things, if you want to be then guess what? Toe the line. And I think that part of my guilt on the radio this morning and sadness, it was a little bit of fear, was also guilt that I've kept my mouth shut. I've been texting my friend a little bit, Chad Prather, and I'm going to talk to Casey and Cash. I've stayed away from. I've been very busy, which is part of it, but I've stayed away from politics. And I don't think I regret I needed the time, but we live in a very dark time. There's a person, I saw their video and they came out and they said, I want to be clear, I can't celebrate his death as an empath. Scott Henry was the influencer. I can't celebrate his death. No kidding. The fact you even have to say that. And then in the comments, and I need to stop reading comments, but there's so many people that are under this mystique that he was this horrible person and racist and bigoted. And he's not, because when he talked to black people that disagreed with him, he brought up crime statistics. He never once said anything bad about black people, ever. And when he talked about transgenderism, he talked about it as being a mental disorder, just like depression. Never said anybody was less in the eyes of God, never said anybody was less of a human being. That's not being transphobic. Saying that he didn't want male athletes in women's sports. That's common sense. There's nothing about this man that was hateful. Nothing. He respectfully engaged in conversation, which was the initial intention of Be the Change, and the truth will set you free. And I don't know what it'll take to continue it, because I do think it's important to have multiple voices on. I don't know. But yesterday was a very dark day, and today is September 11th, 24th anniversary. Honestly, in my life, I will tell you the Vegas shooting, this, and September 11th are the three most, yesterday, the three most, I would say, impactful days that I can remember. And this one's probably a lot closer to 9/11 to me. And I've had some people come up to me at this conference, Coffee Cup Chuck and some other people, and I'm typically funny, and I've been the MC at points, sharing it with my friend Terrence, and I'm funny. I like being funny. But at the same token, they've come up to me and talked about, because they've followed my journey long enough to know that I've been very invested in terms of politics and speaking my truth and the truth and fighting for conversation. And a lot of people, whether it's in text message, my phone was just going nuts yesterday, whether it's in text message or whether it's in person, just engaging with me to say, use your voice. And how heavy it probably was for me. And I don't know why it was. I really don't. Like, I'm an emotional person at certain times, and not stuff like this. But, or maybe, I don't know. I don't know what comes of this. I don't. But, and I can't really see any of the comments, but I see Christine and I share a political belief, but she understands how important it is for the purposes of work and engagement to temper yourself. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if it is. So, I don't know. That's my message for today. I have to speak for 20 minutes later. I thought it was 30 minutes, so I cut to 20, thank goodness. Because I don't know what I'm going to talk about today. I'm throwing my script out the window because today's a different day. And I'm going to obviously make sure I'm telling people to use their voice and promote my speaking stuff. But it's a weird feeling for somebody that loves to speak and loves to use their voice to not really know what to say. I also love business. I love being able to build a business, but there's a certain point where I know God gave me a gift to use my voice and to speak and to be loud and to be heard. And I talk about finding that purpose in my voice and helping people find their voice. But maybe, just maybe, I have to have faith that even speaking my opinion, people like Mike Fallett, Tony Watley, some other people that have made it very clear their political beliefs and they still do great in business, maybe I have to fall into that same category. I don't know. I'm going to pray on it, but I'm praying for you guys. I'm praying for people that have followed me. I saw some of the messages that made me cry in the comments about, in any way, shape, or form, even being half compared to Charlie Kirk. Just because, I have an incredibly small circle compared to Charlie Kirk, but just people that have watched and followed for so long. That's a compliment that I don't feel as though I deserve. And at the same token means a lot to me. So thank you. If anybody wants to come to a speaking webinar, I was told if you clench your butt cheeks, it'll make you stop crying. Oh, it worked. Pro tip. That is good. Go to getbetteratspeaking.com. We have a webinar on Monday, and hopefully I'll have a voice because I'm doing an NFL game. I don't know if I should tell people where I'm going, but I'm doing Northwestern on Saturday, and then I'm going straight to the KC Eagles game on Sunday. So God bless, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Don't surrender your pets. Don't be a garbage human being. And rest in peace, Charlie Kirk.